of August 2023, and we say happy new month to you. Thank God we all wake up today to see a beautiful day which the Lord has made. My name is Nonye Nwokoye, welcoming you to Good Morning Anambra Show today. Let's begin with the press review. You're welcome to the press review. On press review, as you know, we take a look at some of our national dailies to see stories making their headlines in front of the dailies. And of course, I have in the studio some gentlemen to help us analyze the papers this morning. In my immediate right is Comrade Mike Opia, a public affairs analyst. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Good morning and welcome, listeners.
All right, we also have in the studio Barrister Ifechukwu Dan Jacobs. Good to have you in the studio.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you, presenter. You are welcome.
All right, let's begin with taking a look at some of the papers we have. We have the Daily Sun, the National Star, the Punch, the Daily Independent, the Nation, the Guardian, and of course the Nigerian Tribune. Let's start with the Daily Sun newspapers. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Sun newspapers. Now, Tinubu hints on fuel price intervention. Tinubu hints on fuel price intervention. We have riders there. Promises a salary review investment, salary review investment of 100 billion naira on buses. Reveals how government saved 1 trillion naira in 2 months. Decorates CDS service chiefs, charges them to maintain peace, stability, and of course, broadcast sham. Okay, broadcast sham coming from Atiku. Of course, there must be opposition in whatever we are doing. Sit at home. Enough is enough, says Ohaneze. Anger swells in Oyo, Oshun, as protesters block government house and roads. We will not die in silence. That's coming from Lagos NLC. Now, Lagos declares 25% discount on transport fare. Protest, no going back, Labour says. Supreme Court Justice FHC judge die. Mweze was astute, erudite jurist. That's coming from the NBA. His death, shocking, big loss. That's coming from Kalo. Court restrains Abia panel from probing ex-governor Ikpeazu others. FG raises security concerns over second Niger braid. And of course, Senate screens confirms Wike, Momo, others as ministers. With a rider there urges Labour to shelve impending strike. We have diphtheria, 83 deaths recorded, says NPHCDA. All right, that's the much you have in front of the Daily Sun newspapers. Can we look at the banner headlines on the paper this morning up here, talking about the hints by Tinubu? You know, he made a broadcast yesterday to Nigerians.
Thank you very much. The broadcast by the president yesterday, like Sun captured it, was full of hints, promises, and no particular action taken to address the issue of the moment. In any case, we are not blaming them because they said they had no plan before removing the subsidy. So whatever they are doing now is hints, promises, as if we were still in campaigns. That's the tragedy of the moment, because before something like removal of subsidy is done by any government, you have pre-planned, because you know the implication of what will happen. But as it is now, we don't have a plan. We are still promising. The broadcast by the president yesterday seems as if it's a campaign
And
program.
it seems protest has already started even before the deadline given by NLC.
That shows,
because in front of that paper, we can see protesters block the entrance to the government house.
That shows you how restive people have become, how difficult the moment has become, how committed people are now ready to free themselves from the jaws of the misrule of the government. So for me, I listened to the broadcast from the beginning to the end. I didn't bring out anything that is specific to resolve the issue of the moment. It's just like a campaign statement. So that's it. It's
and I don't think the issue of the money to be shared was mentioned again. That 8,000 naira to each family.
Because it has been seen as ridiculing the people. So they shaped it intentionally. And we're telling us that 500 billion naira to be shared. How will it be? It is stated, and there's no program as to how it's going to be done.
Okay, now, Dan Jacobs, I think it will be important for us to bring in the Senate screens confirms Wike, Momo, others as ministers, and at the same time, what they had to tell Nigerians is to shelve the proposed strike or protest that is coming up tomorrow.
Well, I'm not surprised over their statement. They're in the same boat with the presidency. I don't know the same thing that will work with him. They will do everything possible to make sure that the masses is being cowed, that they are not allowed to do what they ought to do. Nigerians are suffering. Politicians are enjoying. Ordinary Nigerians, they are suffering. The politicians are enjoying, and they and their families. So they don't feel the pains we ordinary Nigerians are feeling. That is why they are making such statement that they should share. There's no immediate action taken already to ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians. All the presidency said is broadcast, is promises. Well, are we still in campaign? Are we making promises? We would have by the time he making an announcement or removal of first, he would have been ready with remedies. Palliatives. Look at Adamawa, it's boring. They have 22 hours curfew. People are break.
Relaxed. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, they relaxed, but such as they're supposed not to have it in the first place. People breaking warehouses just to give what to eat. People are no longer stealing electronics and the rest of them. They are stealing food to show the extent of poverty and hunger in the country.
And now there's something I'm seeing here. You know, in that protest yesterday, the National Star Newspaper actually carried it that Tinubu approves buses for students to ease transportation costs. That you increase the school fees of Unity schools from, I think, 35,000 or 45,000 to 100,000 naira. It's more than 100% increment. And you equally increased, you know, all the tertiary institutions owned by federal government. Now, what you are saying you are going to do, or what you've said you will do, is to provide buses to ease your transportation. Is it not when you pay fees that you can go to school? Exactly. And use the bus? So who actually is going to use these buses when the people that are supposed to pay fees cannot afford to pay the fees any longer?
Well, there's contradiction in everything that of this moment. Now you increased school fees, you removed subsidy, and you are giving me bus. How will I buy the fuel to use the bus? That's another question. Will I be in the school, since my parents cannot afford the school fees, who will use the bus? So these are contradictions of a group of people that are not prepared for leadership. Well, it is unfortunate. You see, one of the things we thought Tinubu could do, even though the whole thing is still under, is that he has some administrative abilities. But he is showing that the man, maybe old age, and maybe those around him have no plans and idea how to tackle Nigerian issues. All that is happening are contradictions, and we are moving towards a very serious precipice that when it happens, to be difficult to have Nigeria.
All right, let's look at the new national star. Fully, let's see stories in front of the new national star. Over 1 trillion naira saved in 2 months from fuel subsidy removal. That's coming from Tinubu. And assures workers of pay rise, unveils economic stimulus plan. We also have ministerial lists, Senate screens, Wike, 13 others amid controversy. FG beefs up security at Second Niger Bridge against vandalization. Insecurity, NSA Ribado meets the Southeast governors. Tinubu decorates CDS, other service chiefs with new ranks, calls for synergy. Akume's Kingsmen hold Thanksgiving service over appointment. ASU, aviation workers set to join NLC strike on Wednesday. Nigeria military junta dares ECOWAS dismisses 7-day ultimatum. Women's World Cup, Nigeria qualify for round of 16. NANFG confirms 83 deaths from diphtheria disease. Okay, we have a lot of stories here. You know, we are talking of so many things at the same time, and at the same time, Nigeria is battling diphtheria that have killed over 83 persons, and nobody is actually talking about that. We keep seeing the figures, statistics of how many deaths that has happened.
Because from beginning or from the past, no government in this country has taken health issues serious. They give lip service to our health issues. If they should feed people first and foremost to talk about their health. We are battling with feeding. The greatest illness is hunger. So why should they talk about other diseases when they have not tackled the immediate health challenges Nigerians are having, which is hunger? So I'm not surprised that nobody is talking about this.
And I think this saying that a hungry man is an angry man is kind of playing out in today's Nigeria.
Now, look at the people are no longer having it easy. Everybody is disturbed. Even we don't have middle class again in Nigeria. We only have top political class and the poor Nigerians. Sorry, earners. They are earning monthly pays cannot take care of their transport in a month.
The take home is no longer take home. Take home again.
The issue of 500 billion he wanted to share would have channeled into projects that will make things to be easier and cheaper. We are talking about alternative sources of cheaper energy source. Like CNG, we are talking about CNG and rest of them. That 500 billion, why not use it to build CNG free stations, buy buses that use CNG, buy cars, introduce measures that will make transportation cheaper. And once we make transportation cheaper again, other things will fall.
It's part of what he said yesterday.
But there's one...
But what he said, they will buy buses. We didn't know the type of buses we buy.
CNG, he mentioned it. I think I heard it.
No, but the one thing that surprised me in this mention, the president never mentioned the maintenance or repair of these refineries. Does it mean that they will abandon that? See, because these are the issues we are talking. There's no amount of
money does not solve the problem, but taking steps, policies, investing in infrastructure that will make life to be better and affordable to the people.
So I don't know really what is happening. But let's talk about
it seems that they are not prepared to govern because they take one wrong step to another.
Okay.
Imagine before removing the subsidy, they should have packages how to solve the problem. By now, we would have seen the solutions in sight.
Okay. You want to talk about something else?
The Second Niger Bridge and vandalization of the rails there. Now, it's always the case in this country that we don't take care of our infrastructures. Maintenance is always the problem. A project like that has, though it has not been completed, inbuilt toll. Anybody that will come on that bridge and vandalize it will either go through Asaba or go through Onitsha. And government did not deem it fit to have a security measure to protect those rails, knowing fully well that those rails are attractive, will be very attractive to people because it's money. And now that they almost finished vandalizing it, they are talking of providing security. It's unfortunate that we're having this type of situation in Nigeria. And they are threatening that they are going to close it if nothing is done.
And the story seems contradicting, because in the New National Star, they said FG beefs up security at Second Niger Bridge against vandalization. At the same time, they said they are, considering, shutting it down if the vandalization continues.
But why should it be shut down in the first place? They have seen the problem. It's to tackle that problem. Is it as a security issue? Yes, we have security, we have civil defense, we have police, we have army, navy. Let them take measures to secure that bridge. And mind you that somebody who is not knowledgeable about removal of those cannot do it. Do it.
Okay. Okay, let's run the Punch newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Punch. Senate screens 14 tackles nominees over age tax. Okay, external reserves shared $167 million as Naira slumps further. Tinubu decorates service chiefs, generals pledge loyalty. Subsidy pains. Labour insists on protest as Tinubu okays 500 billion naira palliative, 3,000 buses. We tried as the FG plans a wage increase, relief for MSMEs. Others resume talks with NLC today. NLC faults FG's reforms. Lagos slashes fares as protest rocks Oyo, Oshun. Gallant Falcons pocket 1 billion naira reach World Cup last 16. Now, fuel price hike. Drivers threaten to dump Bolt and Uber. Abductors collected 350,000 naira to release me. And that is the story coming from, says Ondo kidnapped victim. Now, residents groan as medical workers desert collapsed Ogun Health Center. I think the resident doctors are still adamant, concerning their agreement with the government. They said that, I think they held another meeting, which they said they don't agree with what the government is saying.
Yeah. They are making promises to them all these years. And you see the kind of exodus of doctors or health workers from Nigeria to other countries. The kind of pay package they receive outside the shores of this country.
But I think that comes in when you talk about not taking into consideration the way it should, the health sector of the economy. And when we look at the Nigerian, what is it called, budget, every year, each year, what is budgeted towards health, is nothing compared to what outside developed countries do in their health sectors.
And that is why any of them that have little headache rush to abroad for medical trip. Because they don't care what happens to our medical facilities here. Whether it's up to standard or not, it doesn't concern them. They don't make use of it. It's ordinary Nigerians that make use of them. And they don't care to bring everything that's supposed to be in place in terms of medical facilities. Medical doctors here are suffering. Those of them that are still here are here because maybe for one reason or the other. Any of them that will find his way out, will go.
Okay.
And the issue of 25% increase they promised them is, for me, it is insulting. When you are there,
Is it 25% or 25,000?
25,000
naira. 25,000 naira.
25,000 naira increase. Okay, while they are sharing billions on themselves. And those who hold the center of because any country that is sick cannot perform. And those who are in charge of making sure we have healthy citizens are being toyed with. So how can they agree? So the strike goes on. And that is unfortunate. Nigeria is about doing the part of Venezuela. That's my fear about this country, because the leaders are only concerned about themselves
And their families.
and their families, and that is all. Look at what is happening in Senate. Yeah? This Senate may end up to be the most unserious Senate in Nigerian history, from what I'm seeing. Not only they are going to be a rubber stamp, they are going to be most unserious on what is happening. Once they satisfy themselves, they are okay. They are joking with the poor, the poor breed. It becomes a joke in the Senate, because they've shared the 70 billion naira, and everybody can go to hell. So, but very soon, the rich will run, not only cry.
And if you look at the way things are going now, Nigerians are becoming poorer and poorer on a daily basis. The hardship is becoming unbearable. That is why you've seen this protest here and there.
Yes.
Even this protest NS is calling for tomorrow, even if it's been shelved, ordinary Nigerians, when they are no longer comfortable with what they say, they will still go to the streets.
Yes.
It's better the government should do something urgent, from local government to national level. Although there is no local government in
The
place,
government is dead now.
it's dead.
It's dead.
The state governor should start down to think of what to do within their own power in their states to manage their citizens first, the indigenous of their states first, the residents of their state first.
Taking a cue from what happened in which state in the north again, where they broke in and were cutting Adamawa
Yes.
State, you know, because that could replicate in other
So
states.
the state governor
if
should start
nothing
to
is done.
think of what to do, not to wait for federal government.
government.
How do we have through federal system of government? Nobody will talking about
Nobody
federal
Abuja.
now.
No.
State governors should take measures.
Yes.
Take measures to do certain things. They should, even now, this current challenges in this country is something that will make the National Assembly to look into our constitution.
Okay.
At least all this issue of exclusively remove most of everything should not be under federal government control. Almost all the important items under federal government, they should remove them from exclusively and allow state governors to partake. And then we have some governors that will have ability.
Yes.
Okay, let's.
That would have do something that will benefit their people.
All right, the program is Press Review on ABS Television. Is audience participatory. There's a phone line on your screen. You can call and make your own opinion count on any issue raised here that is of importance to you. Let's move on now to the Daily Independent newspaper. Let's see stories in front of the Daily Independent. Fuel subsidy removal. Despite FG's assurances, Labour insists on strike, protest. Aviation railway unions join NLC planned action. Senate appeals to Labour, moves to intervene. Now, Sanwo-Olu slashes transport fares. We've seen that before. Tinubu okays buses for students. We've seen that. Tinubu appoints Ngalale as special advisor on media publicity. Leaves for Benin Republic tomorrow. Now, controversy trails return of Sanusi's portrait at Kano Government House. FX revaluation throws manufacturing giants into huge losses. Dangote Sugar, Nestle, NB post 136.364 billion naira on losses in second quarter losses. Okay, and we have bow and go overshadows Senate ministerial screening. Lawmakers Okewike, Onyejocha, 12 others as ministers. And the last story here, we've saved we've seen that over 11 trillion from subsidy that's coming from
1 trillion.
okay. And I don't know, which one are we looking at?
No, insistence of Labour on the strike,
Okay.
because from nothing has changed.
Well,
They cannot depend on
I think
promises.
the other paper, they said they are still going to meet today.
While the talk continues, let the protest be there. Okay, that is the essence of
But
it.
what the federal government have just said is promises.
Yes.
Nothing on the table already.
Concrete, no concrete.
Nothing has been given to Nigerians to feel the impact of the palliative. Nothing.
So, but they will still be dilly-dallying until Nigeria is shut down. The aviation will join tomorrow, and the railways will join, and the sea, before you know it, Nigeria will be shut down, and that will show how incompetent and unprepared this.
Because the current president have been preparing for leadership since
over 30 years.
Over 30 years. When he's ready, knowing full well, when he said that it's his turn, I thought he's ready for leadership, to rule Nigeria. By now he would have no other, but he's a Nigerian, I've been in Nigeria. He should know problem of Nigeria by now. He would have a blueprint of what to do.
Exactly.
All right, let's move. The Nation newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see stories in front of the Nation. It's time to deliver, President tells service chiefs. Labour insists on protest despite ongoing talks with government. Now, Lagos slashes, okay, we've seen that story before. A subsidy pain, Tinubu rolls out relief package with riders there. President outlines measures to lift economy. Obe, others hail presidential plan. Okay. Okay, that's just about it in front of the Nation newspaper. Do we look at the ultimatum given to the service chiefs? It's time to deliver.
Indeed, the service chiefs should know that they should not wait for that ultimatum. Once they have been appointed, they should move into action. Nigeria is in dire need of security to secure life and property. For past 8 years of the Buhari regime,
Administration.
Nigeria have under fire in every area. No area is safe. They should do something urgent, at least to curtail the excesses of non-state actors. Make sure that those that are supposed to answer questions over insecurity should be arrested and let them answer questions. Know the sponsors. Because if you want to stop insecurity in this country, you should know the sponsors of this insecurity. Once you cut off their source of supply,
They will dry up.
they will dry up.
Well, let's talk about the fallacy and the falsehood in the Nation's report. Tinubu rolls out relief packages. Tinubu did not roll out any relief package. Okay? Tinubu promises to do it. And there's no concrete steps as to achieve it. So for the Nation to say Tinubu rolls out relief package is not only sensational but false.
All right, the Guardian newspaper is next. It seems that this is just what we have in virtually all the papers today. The Tinubu justifies reforms, unveils 500 billion naira package to ease pains. Tinubu presidency road to 100 days, reforms and palliatives. That's what we are seeing in front of the Guardian newspaper. Labour, FJ meet again in last attempt to stop tomorrow's protest. Concerns over Mafab's delayed 5G development operation. Senate jettisons promise of thorough screening of ministerial nominees. Subsidy, time for sacrifice and responsible governance. Now, Super Falcons to earn $60,000 each for making second round. Niger coup, group wants ECOWAS on danger of military intervention. Do we look at that?
Yes.
You know, okay.
The military intervention in West Africa is a pointer to something.
Yes.
It's time we hold our election the way it's supposed to be. We should stop rigging, allowing wrong persons to get into power through wrong way. When you allow free and fair election and allow people to make their choice, if the people they elected are in power, why should they go against them? And if you know that people elected you, you will bring out policies that will favor them.
Did you notice the joy in the street when the leadership was toppled?
When they toppled,
the people were rejoicing. It was a celebration.
Showing that actually maybe this man one way or the other have forced himself on them. And we are talking about the government. That's why even in Nigeria we should be careful the way we handle our election issues. To avoid a situation whereby one day the military will rise against nonsense we're having here in the name of election.
And let me also join in warning Nigerian government and other ECOWAS government not to use military intervention in Niger. Because if they use it as the West is cajoling them to do, the East will arise. Russia, China are watching. So it's becoming now a bet. For the first time, the Secretary of State in America has called Tinubu to cajole them to use military force.
In other words, they should tread carefully.
That is
They
it.
should tread
Otherwise,
carefully.
it will say South Africa, West Africa place.
Because all the socialist states now are looking towards Africa.
Yes.
And the French colonies are under threat.
Yes.
Okay, now this saying there's this story here: subsidy, for sacrifice and responsible governance. We are talking about the pains, and these pains mostly affect the poorest of the poor in the society. Now, who should sacrifice when our leaders are going on with hardship allowance, when the real people undergoing hardship are on the streets suffering?
The truth is that unless our leaders do the needful, they should cut the cost of governance, first and foremost. Now they are talking about reviewing of, if not because of the outcry of Nigerians, they were talking about reviewing the salary of National Assembly members, that they have been too long. But we are crying that what they are collecting is too much.
But they are doing that secretly. They've just abandoned it.
We are crying that what they are receiving is too much. Nigerians are receiving peanuts. Imagine, look at the
They
salary.
take housing, they take wardrobe, they take, and these are running into millions and billions.
All manner of allowances.
And you are talking about sacrifices, talking about
They say should make
governance.
sacrifices, drop some
Who
of the
should?
allowances. The National Assembly members, State Assembly members, the executive should drop some of the allowances now.
So the
that they make
sacrifices
money,
should come
they make
from
money
them.
available to provide palliative for Nigerians in this present condition.
Okay, let's look at the Nigerian Tribune now. Let's see stories. That's the last paper we are looking at, but not the least. So your workers protest, lock secretariat. We've seen that. Senate, okay, we've seen that. National broadcast, salary review coming. 125 billion naira to energize MSMEs. Tinubu. Mixed reaction trail Tinubu's address. We have Adamawa looting. Police arraign 110. PEPC, Tinubu, Atiku Obi to adopt final written address today. Nigeria records 839 cases, 83 diphtheria deaths in 8 states. Service chiefs decorated. Okay, we've seen that before. It's just the same stories going around. Now, Sonwolo case, 50% fare reduction. Okay, we've seen that. Now, key point in President's speech, government to spend 75 billion naira to fund 75 enterprises at 9% per annum interest rate in 9 months. And now 1 million nano bus businesses to get 50 billion naira conditional grant, 1,300 nano buses in each of the 774 local governments to get 50,000 naira each, and other things. And we also have mixed reaction experts. Okay, let's look at that mixed reaction trailing Tinubu's address. Experts express concern on loan moratorium, roles of other tiers of government. Then Ogbe comments the president, says powerful team needed to implement policy. Okay, now I keep saying it that we have most times we have beautiful policies, but the implementation is where the problem lies. Up here.
Okay, what we've not even looked at is what is the objective of the president's address to the nation yesterday? Just to see a way of convincing the labor or cajoling them to shelve the protest, because other governments have scheduled dates of addressing the press. Well, they just came up day for yesterday and said they want to address the press. And they look at the address, it looks as if what artificial intelligence will do, because the presentation of the broadcast looks so artificial, so it's not natural. But what is important is what is the objective. Okay, but what concerns me here, I want to say, is those in Adamawa that were arrested because they went to carry should be released, because those who should be prosecuted are those who are hoarding those grains while citizens are dying of hunger. So those people should be arraigned, not those who want to carry what belongs to them.
All right, quickly before we wrap up.
This is the issue of 125 billion naira loan to small-scale industries. The problem is not that providing that loan, but providing an enabling environment for them to survive with that loan.
Where is it?
Because if power is not affordable, those
Fuel is not there.
Food is not there. If you give them that money, they will spend it in overhead costs again. But if you provide the neighboring environment that will make the industries to thrive, if you give them that loan, they will
use it in production.
They will be productive and employ more Nigerians. Yes. Remove more people from unemployment.
All right, we can go on and on. You've heard what is going on or what is trending in most of the national dailies today, the state of the nation, Nigeria. And we had in the studio Comrade Mike Opia and Barrister Ifechukwu Dan Jacobs. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us.
And that's it on the press review. We have more coming up on Good Morning Anambra Show. Do stay.